11 Days Below the Rim, October 2017. Tonight I sleep on the rim. Tomorrow I descend into the Grand Canyon for 11 days. I am excited, yet also nervous. In fact, more nervous than I have ever been before heading into a hike. There will be over 65 miles of trail that I have never hiked before. My total hike will be just over 83 miles. The first few days, I may truly be alone. Not that I haven't solo hiked before, but the longest was 4 days, 3 nights. I know this is going to be a test. What exactly am I made of? Who am I? And am I cut out for a future through hike? My adventure, as I like to call my backpacking trips, will officially begin on October 1st. Since I have the drive to the canyon and last minute details to take care of, I've left home a day earlier. If you count my stop for lunch and the time for putting gas in the Jeep, it is about 5 hours to the Grand Canyon. Today, lunch was Five Guys burgers and fries. Definitely no need to stress over calories going into 11 days of backpacking and eating the type of food that goes along with it. I even picked up some Dunkin' Donuts munchkins for dessert tonight and breakfast tomorrow. After arriving at Mather Campground and setting up camp for the night, I continue trying to cut some weight from my pack. It weighed in at 47.4 pounds before I left the house. Packing light is not one of my strong points. I head over to the general store and score on a 31-ounce rat sack, a lightweight stainless steel mesh bag with a 3-inch hook and loop closure, lighter by almost 2 pounds than the Bear Vault, a translucent polycarbonate container with a locking lid that suppresses odors, which is currently in my pack. Both of these items are rodent-proof, a necessity on the trail. Back at camp, I repack my food and even purge a few things. Those chocolate-covered cashews that will be a melted mess anyway, some nut packets, and lastly, my second bag of Swedish fish. These items will be awaiting my return in the front seat of my Jeep. Tomorrow morning, my pack will get its official starting weight at the backcountry office. October 1st, Day 1. Tanner Trailhead to Tanner Rapids, 7.8 miles. Today is the day. I am crazy nervous now. I took way too long showering and fussing with my hair. Why? Because I am nervous. Also, I won't have a chance to experience these luxuries again till the 11th. At the backcountry office, I sort of check in, even though it is not required. I figure they may as well know that I am going to do this. The cab ride is going to cost $46 or $47 to the trailhead. Ouch. A little birdie said that I could probably hitch a ride. Why not? Not any crazier than an 11-day solo hike. Oh, my pack weighed in at an even 45 pounds. After riding the bus to the visitor center and then to Pipe Creek Vista, I get off and start walking along the 64 towards Lippin Point. Thumbing is not something I do every day. In fact, I have only done this one other time when our van broke down in Pennsylvania and I needed a ride to an auto parts store. Anyway, a small car pulls over for me, an overloaded small car. The couple is Simon and Anna from Australia on a month-long tour of the Southwest. They make room for me and my pack in their rental car. Then we are on our way to Lippin Point. Simon and Anna are the first of the many awesome people I will meet along the way. At Lippin Point, I take a few pictures and talk with some people. I guess a lone female embarking on an 11-day hike is impressive. Either that, or they just think I am a bit nuts. I officially hit the trail at 10:30 a.m. Not early, but not bad with hitching a ride and all. The Tanner Trail is one of the tougher, steeper Grand Canyon trails. I guess anything that takes one to the Colorado River in a 7.8-mile descent isn't going to be easy. Very soon the Tanner gives you some double D trail, as my map rates it. E is easy, M is moderate, D is difficult, and double D is, I have no idea. My prior experience has been D ratings, the toughest of these being parts of the Hermit Trail. What exactly does Double D entail? I'm soon to find out. On this section of the Tanner, it is a steep trail through a rock slide area. In the midst of this rock slide, there are some stones set just like steps. This is my first of 6 Double D sections of trail on my 11-day hike. I would learn that it can mean quite different things. The Tanner is a trail that likes to go down. Around the halfway point, it levels out, then once again seems to endlessly descend to the river. Along the way, I meet a guy who had gotten ahead of his group. Later, I meet the rest of them. They had started on the Navajo reservation and crossed the Beamer, the trail I would be doing tomorrow. I also met a group of 3 that had day hiked to the river and were on their way out. They were wearing sandals. Ouch. When I pause to rest or take pictures, the view is amazing. I enjoy seeing the watchtower from below the rim. Such a different perspective on things from down here. I make Tanner Beach around 5:45 p.m. It's been a long day on the trail that didn't want to end. I, I get to cool off in the river as I replenish my water supply. The Colorado was running green today. Green is good. This means the water is clearer, with less stirred up sediment, and easier to filter. I am shocked at how good the river water tastes. On previous hikes, I've only had water from the creeks in the Grand Canyon, Hermit and Monument Creeks. I eat my dinner in the dark as the sun sets shortly after 6 p.m. I feel beat up and have earned my first of what will be many blisters on this hike. Nothing like a large one on the ball of one's foot below the big toe. The views today, when I could actually look up from watching my steps, have been spectacular and worth the long day. The Tanner makes former hikes on the Hermit seem easier. At least I don't have to ascend this trail. Tonight, I will be sleeping to the sound of Tanner Canyon Rapids. October 2nd, Day 2. Tanner Rapids to just before Lava Canyon Rapids, 3 miles. Up just after 6 a.m., but moving slowly this morning. The Tanner wore me out yesterday. As I break camp, I talk to a girl, Jen. I didn't even know anyone else was near last night. Anyway, she came down with a guide yesterday. I had actually passed them yesterday when they'd had another girl with them. The other girl ended up returning to the rim early on, causing them to make their camp later than planned last night. I am heading in the opposite direction of them today, but will be back this way and following the same route at least until Hance Rapid. I spend a few minutes talking to the guide, who gives me some advice on water sources. This will be helpful in the days to come. Finally, I'm hitting the trail at 9:15 a.m. This is too late, as it is warm down here. Even though it is October, the inner canyon is known to radiate heat, especially where the trail is exposed, with little to no shade. I can see the river, but not get to it most of the time. The Beamer heads east to the confluence of the Colorado with the Little Colorado. It is supposed to be beautiful, but is 9.1 miles away. The trail starts out, and soon I face my second Double D section of trail. Here, the Double D means a narrow, edgy trail of loose rock. Like one misstep and I'll be over the edge, rolling down a rocky cliff and landing in the Colorado River with a 40-plus pound pack on my back. Then up a small climb, just enough to further unnerve me. I make it through and take a rest at a small beach area near River Mile 67. It is beautiful and peaceful here, my own little paradise after the brutal trail. After regrouping some, I begin again, moving slowly, frustrated with my aching feet. Now this section of trail is rated E, mostly plodding through sand and some rocky areas, nothing too hard or scary. I reach the 3-mile mark at a large beach area just before Lava Canyon Rapid. These 3 miles have taken me 3 hours. I have another 6.1 to go, including another section of Double D. I feel beat up, a failure, so I decide to call it a day and set up camp. I have my camp set up and I'm starting to relax. Suddenly, a big gust of wind comes up. The gust picks up my staked down tent with everything in it and carries it down the beach at least 20 yards. I chase it down and catch up to it, where it is stuck in some brushy trees. The sleeping bag and air mattress are dropped near the tent. The poor camera made it about 15 yards before being dumped on the beach. As I collect my gear, worrying that another gust will come up, I believe that I am a complete failure. I carry my tent back to where I had pitched it originally. It had remained in set-up mode through the ordeal. All the stakes had dropped near the original spot, but no way was I relying on them again. I find big rocks, using them on the corners and the guy lines. The air mattress seems okay, but only nighttime will tell. The camera seems to work, thankfully, as I would have cried had it not. The tent itself is scuffed up. The top of the fly is going to need repair, but with no rain in the forecast, it can wait till I get home. After everything is put back in order, I cool off in the Colorado River, which is still running green. I enjoy the sun for a while as I take in the views. I didn't make the confluence, but I do have Lava Canyon Rapid just upriver from me. The river also pools into this sort of inlet here. I can hear the rapid, but also a lapping sound like a beach on a lake. I eventually end up outside my tent, but in the shade it creates. I sit here writing, then reading the Gideon's Bible I have brought with me. While I do this, a brave little lizard contemplates climbing over and around me. Late in the afternoon, I walk further up the Beamer, enjoying the views and taking some pictures. I stop and turn around where the trail is going to get tough again. It's hard for me to quit this trail, and I feel like I've failed. My thought process on ending here is that if I had gone for it, would I have been able to finish the rest of my hike? I really wanted to do the rest. Then the whole tent versus wind incident. I could have lost a chunk of my gear had it blown into the river. Then what would I have done? I am now seriously questioning my competence for the rest of this hike, and it is only the second day. In the evening, my perspective on today's events changes. I see God in the small things. Earlier in the day, while filling my water filter bags, I had lost one of the caps. As I walked along the beach in the evening, I found it again. Then, while sitting outside of my tent doing I don't know what, I looked up and there was my watch lying in the sand at the edge of the water. It had also launched from the flying tent, but I hadn't yet missed it. Both were small things that I could have survived without, but they were important to me. I just felt like God let me see Him in all this. He reassured me that I was not alone, even though I was the only person for miles. He was also there when my day was going crazy. Life can be so different when I am here, surrounded by such beauty that screams to me, Creator God. Now this crazy day also becomes a crazy night. The wind picks up after 9 p.m. It is blowing hard, so hard that it blows sand through the tent screen. Once the sand is in the tent where the air is calm, it sort of rains down on me. Not fun. I also realize that my air mattress has a slow leak. Even less fun, as this is only my second night of 10. Plus, there is no place to hang up my backpack to keep animals out of it, so I place it away from my tent on some large boulders.